The ingredients for our strawberry sorbet are sugar, water, frozen or fresh strawberries, which we will be using frozen, freshly squeezed lime or lemon juice, we'll be using lemons, and light corn syrup. To make our strawberry sorbet, we'll need dry measuring cups, liquid measuring cups, a juicer, a rubber scraper, a wooden spoon, a straight edge spatula, a medium saucepan, a fine mesh strainer, and a food processor. Before I begin combining any ingredients for my strawberry sorbet, I need to prep ingredients so they're ready to combine at the right time. So I've gotten a little bit earlier, I got my strawberries out of the freezer so that they could be mostly thawed. And now I need to juice the lemons. So to juice the lemon, I need to cut it across the middle, not top to bottom, because I need to be able to see that distinctive wagon wheel pattern. And then we need a 1/4 cup of freshly squeezed juice. So I'm going to place my juicer over my liquid measuring cup. Place the center of the lemon on the point of the reamer portion of the juicer. And push and twist. The juice will fall through, the pulp and seeds will be retained at the top. So I can take the lemon from this to this. And then as I juice the lemon, I can see if I need another one. Typically you get 2 to 3 tablespoons of juice out of 1 lemon. 4 tablespoons would be 1/4 cup. This lemon gave us about 2 ounces, which is just perfect at 1/4 cup. So the 1 large lemon gave us enough. To begin our strawberry sorbet, we're going to start by making a simple syrup. So that's equal parts sugar and water. To do that, I have 1 cup of granulated sugar and 1 cup of water in my medium saucepan. I'm going to turn the burner on to a medium heat. Remember, medium is 5 or 6 if your dial has numbers instead of words. And while that warms up, I will be stirring to dissolve the sugar, and then I'm going to simmer it for 5 minutes without stirring, and I'll want to set a timer when we get to that point. So I'm going to stir to dissolve the sugar, and then bring it to a simmer. Once it begins to simmer, I can stop stirring, and then I just need to time it for 5 minutes before I take it off the heat. Okay, so I've started to get just a little simmer. You can see some of those small bubbles towards the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and start my timer. 5 minutes, and we want to do preferably without stirring at all. So you can see I have a lot of bubbles now. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. I want to keep the bubbles, but I don't want to get any more. I just want to simmer. So a few less bubbles at a time. So I'm going to turn it down to about a medium low to maintain some bubbles, but not such a furious pace. In just a few seconds, our 5 minutes will have passed with our simple syrup on a medium low temperature at a simmer. And then we're going to turn the burner off, take the pan off the heat, and move the syrup into a container that will allow it to go into the refrigerator. So I'm turning off the burner and then moving the pan and pouring the syrup into a container that we will place in the refrigerator so that it can cool off before we add any other ingredients. Just make sure I get everything into the container, out of the pan. While our simple syrup is cooling, we are going to puree our strawberries in a food processor. along with the lemon juice that we squeezed out of the fresh lemons. We'll get this until it's totally smooth, and then we'll go to the next step. So we're going to put that lid on our food processor, lock it in place, and turn it on. Pause for a minute, sort of check it, move it around a little. There's still a few larger pieces in here, so I'm going to go ahead and blend that again. Run that through the processor one more time. Now you can see it's a lot smoother in the processor. So we're going to take our fine mesh sieve, fine mesh strainer, and take our pureed strawberry mixture and push that through. Because what we want to do is get any large pieces and the seeds from the strawberries out of the puree and have everything else go through. That'll eventually combine with the simple syrup and the corn syrup to chill overnight and wait to be put in the processor tomorrow. So you can see this process is going to take a few minutes. It's dripping through the bottom. So that the seeds and any large chunks of strawberry stay in the strainer. Here you can see I'm at the end of my fine mesh sieve time. There's a color difference between what's gone through into the bowl and what's still in the strainer, and that's basically because of all those seeds that are making what's in the strainer darker. So several times I had to clean off the bottom of the strainer to get more room for stuff to go through. It was a little bit of a lengthy process. It probably took me about 20 minutes to get it all through. Just kind of repeating this process like this to push it through, and then clean off the bottom to get the push through part into the bowl. To finish off this part of our sorbet, we're going to combine our corn syrup with our simple syrup that's been cooling off in the refrigerator. I'm going to use a rubber scraper to make sure that all of that corn syrup gets into the container, because it is very thick and sticky and clings to the side of the measuring cup. And then we're going to take those strained strawberries again, using that rubber scraper to make sure that all the mixture gets into the container. And we're just going to stir those together a little. And then this needs to chill for at least an hour, or even better, overnight, before we put it in the ice cream maker to churn it. To finish off our strawberry sorbet, it happens much like ice cream does. So we're going to put it in our ice cream maker. I have here a freezer bowl that has a special liquid inside the walls. It has to go in the freezer overnight, but it's very clean. It's not messy at all. So then I put this piece in the center. This is called the dasher, and you can see that little divot at the bottom that the little point of the dasher goes in. So we just set that in the groove, and then we need to put the cover on, the lid, and you see it has a hole here at the top. So we're going to turn it on and get it started chilling and turning, and then we're going to pour our strawberry sorbet base in that has been allowed to chill overnight in the refrigerator so that it gets good and cold. So now while the ice cream maker is turning, we're going to pour our sorbet base into the center. And I'll scrape the container to make sure that everything gets in. And this will take about 20 minutes, but then we'll have our sorbet. Now that our sorbet has reached the consistency of a soft serve ice cream, we're ready to stop the ice cream maker and serve. Now, just like an ice cream made in this ice cream maker, our sorbet has a soft serve consistency now, but if we were to package it and put it in a freezer, it would become more solid and more firm, just as traditional ice cream does when it's in a freezer. But remember, a sorbet is great for someone who has lactose intolerance because a sorbet contains no dairy products. So here's our strawberry sorbet dished up, ready to serve and enjoy.